Here I am. Gosh, let's see. 8 o'clock. We're only an hour behind. Uh, can you see the sweat? You guys, I literally have created and uncreated and recreated. I was like, shoot, I'm just going to record this in YouTube and give you guys a link. I have had the most interesting. Facebook wasn't letting me go live because they wanted me to have a title. Then it wasn't all the things. At about 7:20, I thought I'll just go live. But then I couldn't screen share. I couldn't do the things. And then so at about 7:30, I was ready to throw in the towel. Perseverance. This is perseverance and patience. Let me drink some cucumber water. Get my wits about me because I've had an hour of, but success. So when you are feeling frustrated, when you are calling and people aren't answering, when you're getting no's, don't give up, because all of a sudden it magically worked, and all of a sudden you'll magically get the yes. So I'm here. We made it. I'm excited. I want to do a shout out. We had Olivia turned in her weekly accomplishment sheet. Sylvia turned in her weekly accomplishment sheet. And we have a queen of sales last week with $307 in sales. And that is Faye Thomas. Congratulations for getting your weekly accomplishment sheet in with $307, which puts you in the queen's throne. And our queen of sharing this last week is also Faye Thomas. And I was trying to find the slide for the brand new consultants and I couldn't find it. So congratulations, Tanya Woods. Welcome back to Mary Kay. So excited. Already placed an order, already active. Excellent. Putting Faye back in that red jacket. It's going to look so great at seminar. I'm excited. So there we go. And gosh, what's the other thing? So super excited. I forgot to talk about a cruise to Mexico next year. So I will talk about that different. I'm not going to take time tonight. I'll talk about that at a different time. But that's exciting. And that's exciting. So we will see about talking about going to Mexico at the end of the year next year. All right. So let's do is it going to let me? So many things are being different today. Video. Add people. Where's my screen share? Oh, you guys, let's see. Media assets. Usually there's that screen share button. Leave the studio. I don't want to leave the studio. Oh my goodness, you guys. All the reason that I was trying to get into StreamYard was so that I could, what is this? Share the screen. Whew. I wanted to share the screen. So let me go to perfect. Share the screen. We're talking about getting 45 new customers with the 45 to Thrive.
$1 million sales director from Rockford, Illinois. And this is video 2 in the 45 to Thrive series. So if you haven't seen video 1 yet, stop this recording and go back and watch it first. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about all of the print-offs from the collab that you're going to want to have in your binder. And I'll give you suggestions on regular paper cardstock or if it matters either way. Okay, but there are 2 things that I think will be helpful to purchase in addition to your binder. The first thing is going to be sheet protectors. So a sheet protector looks like this. You're going to want to have at least 25 of those, one for each of the products that are on the 25 product sheet for your 45 customers to be using. So those products that we talked about in the last video. Now, in the last video, I mentioned like silky setting powder or translucent powder. So you might want to have more than 25 of those sheet protectors and print even more of the products. That could maybe be this one or that one. Now, the place you're going to want to go to find your product fact sheet is you'll go to the little shopping bag icon on Mary Kay in Touch. And for this one example, you would type in oil-free eye makeup remover. And then when that comes up, click on it. And if you scroll down, you'll see product fact sheet. You want to print that product fact sheet. This one, for example, has 2 sides to it. So you'll print it back to back, slide it down in here. The reason for this is so you can get to know these products. You can get to know their features, their benefits, the buzzwords that Mary Kay teaches us to use. So it helps you to give even better customer service, the whole idea of this entire thing. And then you're going to want to put those in the back of your binder in the sheet protector. So they are always there and ready to go. It will also help you to have a really great place to go if you get a question from a customer. Okay, the next thing that you are going to want to print off is going to be the 45 to Thrive customer list. So this would be your sheet of 45 customers. Now, if you've been building your customer base and you already have 45 customers, write them down from the top customer down to the lowest one, or maybe you have even more than that. I've printed off 2 and started to get the names in there for this new year. But I printed off 2, and if you notice, I did them kind of back to back. So when I open this page of the binder, they can be written in. Oh, that was a sneak peek of like old ones. I just saw it flipping back there from the previous years. Look at that, back when we had to use a highlighter. I love that Erin put these pink, white, because these lines, by the time you get over here, is hard to remember which person that you're working on. Okay, so if you don't have 45 customers yet, just put in whatever customers you already have. And if you're brand new, well, get excited. You get to start building this and start building those customers. So what I do is I go through and put in my top, I will do 90, my top 90 customers. Now there's more than that, but I do the top 90 minimally. And then I will go in and put in or check mark anything that they have purchased in the last year. So then you have a good idea. If they've purchased it in the last year, they're using it still. There's a chance they're still using it. If they haven't ordered it in over a year, they've either run out or they never used it in the first place. So it could still be a good thing to put in there. Now you'll notice these are pretty small. One of the great things that Erin Marlowe did in this collab was she made this on Canva. So you can actually type the names in if you want to use it like on the computer or on your phone. You can do that. You can print it off and write it in like I've done here. You can use check marks on hers or on this. Another quick thing I'll show you is that with cleanser, if they're using Voluform, I use a V instead of a check mark. So you'll come up with your own little things the more you use this and the more customers that you're building. The other thing that you can do, if it would be easier for you and if everything you do is in your office, you could have this sent off to like FedEx Kinko's or a local print shop in a big version, because this is pretty small with pretty small print. So you could have a big version in your office and use a big board instead. So you have a lot of options there to be able to use. Okay, the next thing that you'll see in there is the sample tracker. Now, this is how you're going to keep track of the samples that you send out to your customers with the coupons that we're going to go through here in just a little bit. So one of the things that I'm going to teach you to do is if you have a customer that is using, let's say that she's using everything except for the Serum C+E, or at least that's like one of the first things on the checklist, and maybe she's using lipstick but not lip gloss. Well, if those are samples we currently have, which we do at the time of this recording, you could go on to Mary Kay under section 2, order those samples and send her 2 samples. I recommend mailing 2 samples at a time to a customer, whether this is just something that you come up with you're like, I don't know what to do right now. I don't have enough bookings. I want to get more sales. Well, here's something you can work on. Work on these 45 customers that you have already spent time to invest in and get to know and get get on the products and find the products she's not using and mail out one skincare item and one color item along with a coupon. Now, the coupons are towards the back of the collab on the sheets that you can get there. You'll see them done this way, where there's a front and a back that you could print off just on cardstock and then paper cut them. I left them full to show you how they would look like that. I also had Erin put them just one per page, so you can send them off to Vistaprint, for example, if you want to. I have found that Vistaprint does a really great job of printing business cards. So you would print this in a business card fashion. So this is how you would use this gift certificate, for example. It's just a cute little picture on the front that she made that says gift certificate. And then the back, you'll notice, kind of matches it with that faded pink heart. And it says, Mary Kay Cash, $10 off a $40 purchase, valid blank to blank. Now, this one has the independent beauty consultant. That's just how it prints off. You can go in and put all your own information so they can be printed from your home computer this way, or you can send them off to Vistaprint or whatever other company with your information right on them, and they are ready to go in a box of cards, and it looks very professional. So the reason it has a valid blank to blank, you will fill that in with an ink pen. So let's say that you're going to mail out those samples of a lip gloss and a serum C+E to your customer. Well, if I put it in the mail today and they live fairly close, I think they're going to probably get that in the next 2 days. I'm going to put valid 2 days from now, and then I'm going to go 2 weeks out. So I want this coupon to be good for about 2 weeks, and it's $10 off a $40 purchase. Now, as soon as you send that out, you can either, I've done both ways. I've written a little note at the bottom like, hey, Kate, I just noticed you aren't using 2 of my favorites. I'm sending you these samples. Can't wait to see what you think of them. And then I've also just mailed them out and follow up with a text. Hey, Kate, watch for your mail. I just sent you a couple of my favorite product samples that I think you're going to love. Can't wait to hear what you think. So either way, whether you write it or you follow up with a text. Now, this sheet is going to help you to keep a track of what you have sent and what date, because that gets a little it can get thrown off in your mind. So you put Kate's name, the samples that you sent, the date you sent, the expiration, and then this reminds you to follow up. Why is this so important? Out of all the ones I've mailed out, very few just give me a call or a text in order. Some have, but most of it happens in the follow-up. Again, great customer service. How many times have you gotten something in the mail and you're like, oh, I need to get back to that, and forget? But if somebody called you and followed up, like, there'd probably be a bigger chance, right? So you want to follow up with her. Now, I did put an example script at the bottom of this, like, hey, Kate, have you had a chance to try the sample I sent you in the mail? Just a quick reminder that your $10 off a $40 purchase coupon expires tomorrow. Is there anything you'd like to use it on? And the reason you end like that is it doesn't have to be Serum C+E or lip gloss. She can use it off of whatever she wants to use it on. $10 off a $40 purchase means you're still going to profit. So that is really important when it comes to this. It's not just a straight cash amount. It's $10 off a $40 purchase. The other is you always want to end with a question when you are following up with a customer. So instead of saying like, let me know if there's anything you'd like to buy, you want to make sure you end with a question. Is there anything you'd like to use it on, or something like that? So it prompts her to give an answer back to you. So this is just a great tracker. You're going to end up needing multiple of these printed off with the more samples that you send out. Now, another great opportunity and time to give out samples with the coupons would be in a reorder. So whether you mail that reorder or somebody's picking it up or you're dropping it off, putting those right inside there, you've already spent the time or the money to ship it there. So you might as well add them into that too, and then track it on this tracking sheet. I hope you get excited about that. I really love that coupon in there. Now, while I'm talking about coupons, I'll go ahead and tell you about this one. This is another one. It just says a gift for you. And this one says the certificate is good for $10 in products redeemable at your skincare or color appointment. That you could use anywhere. You could use it to warm chat. You could throw it in every reorder bag. Like, you could put it anywhere because it's at a skincare or color appointment with you. So it's just something they might keep in their wallet, not get rid of, make sure that they have it there. All right, next one in here is the Faces Challenge. Now, this is just for you. You can have as many of these printed as you want. I would print the amount that goes with your goal. So there are 25 little faces on here, 25 ladies. And so maybe your goal is to have 25 new customers in a month. Maybe it's 25 new customers in 6 months. Maybe you're just going for Princess Court and it's 25 customers this year. But maybe you have a really huge goal and it's 25 customers this week that you are going to put product on, and you're going to be, whether that's through sample or in person. So whatever that is, it's just a place for you to track it. Now, I like to write their name here and then write in their face how much they purchased, just because then it's fun to track that too. All right, the next one that you'll see is the National Quart of Sales Tracking Sheet. So we know that a tracked number grows, right? Mary Kay has taught us that. So we want to make sure we're tracking this and filling it in. And isn't it so fun to fill in squares like that? So maybe you're going to use a favorite color highlighter, or maybe you're going to use a solid bold Sharpie and you're just going to Sharpie that in. Well, these are set up with $450 retail for every one of these squares. Now, if you think about that, that's on the average, it's a $225 wholesale. That's why we've used the $450 retail. And I wanted to put it in retail version just in case you're new and you're getting free product. You're getting free product bundles that are counting in towards your quart of sales for the year, or there's a flash sale, or there's a BOGO or anything else that Mary Kay might offer. So you're just tracking straight retail, because that really is all that matters in the quart of sales is your retail number. So you're going to follow that along, and you'll notice there's little markers, like there's 10,000, we've got 20,000, 30,000, and 40,000 and 45,000, meaning that you have finished. I also might throw in there that maybe you're like, Tandy, I do the quart of sales every year, but I want to use this tracking sheet. You might have 2 of those. Maybe you want to stretch yourself and fill up 2 of those sheets this year and do 90,000. Isn't that exciting? All right, next up is the National Quart of Sharing. Now, the reason that we want to put this in here, the reason I wanted this to be a part of it is because I want you to remember that every single person that you share this product with deserves to hear about our business opportunity. So this is kind of your reminder, like, hey, have I shared the business opportunity with her? Does she know how this works? And if not, make sure that you share the business with her too. So this is set up where it's like a 1 in 5 average, that if you share the business with 5 women, 1 would recruit. So maybe your averages are different than that. It is important to know what your averages are. So you would fill one of these squares out for every team building appointment you do, whether that's a one-on-one interview and you're having coffee together, or maybe she's on a peek into pink with your director, whatever type of a team building appointment with the follow-up where you're actually asking the question, so is this something you'd like to get started with? So would you like to join my team, where there's an actual question to close it. And then once she has joined your team, you're going to write her name in here. Again, maybe your goal is to double that, so you can print as much of those as you would like to. Okay, and then the final one is going to be the Mary Kay survey and the customer profile. So I am going to put these in video number 3. So we're going to close that off there. And I hope that this has given you a lot, right? So
All right. Stop sharing. And we're back. All right. So I love Tandy, and she came up with this. I think she borrowed it from somebody else. We love to do that, right? We say copy the right cat. So she actually came up with this 40 customers, and now we're making it 45 customers. And let me see if I can grab just real quick this. So she was talking about the all those different flyers. And I'll share with you what this looks like. And I'll make sure that you can get the link for that. Let me see. Let me make sure it's bigger. Okay, so this is the the paperwork. So this is where you can look at the different products, and then this is the customer, which I love this because it's a great way to have your customers. I mean, it's nice to go look at them on the computer on InTouch, but you have to look at everybody individually. This is something you can look at and see what products they're using. I mean, I had a customer for the longest time. She only bought mascara from me. I mean, it's still added to my sales, but this other one is great because you can facial them and get them to order more or figure out what they're interested in, why they're not ordering other Mary Kay products, right? The sample tracker she talked about, I loved that. But as she was talking about mailing out samples, that was making my head hurt because I do offer samples in reorders. That's usually the only time people were ever getting samples from me. But I love this tracker because there's so many times that I didn't remember what color lipstick I sent to somebody and they would call me and want to order it. So this is a great way to know what sample you send and then making sure you follow up to see how they liked it and see if it's something they'd like to try. That one is brilliant. I love tracking faces. I love tracking quarter sales. I love tracking quarter sharing. And so this is a survey. So we have the one that Ari does, but here's another one that you can use. And it's a survey that also has product information on it. So you guys can take a look at this and see if this is something you want to use. This is a customer profile. So this profile is basically not like the profile they fill out. This is a customer profile for you to have, again, just like that other sheet where you see the products that they are using. And if you have everything in this binder, you know where everything is. It's in one place, very easy. This is what the gift certificates look like. The $10 off the 40 purchase, gift for you card, right? The gift certificates, Mary Kay Cash. There's a couple of different ones that you see that you can use. And that's that. So that's kind of what all of the paperwork looks like up close. Okay. So I will also print those and then I will see the best way that I can share that with you. So if you have Canva, then you can go in, and if you want to type anything in right from Canva, you can do that. So I'll put that in the Facebook group. Sound good? Yes? Okay. All right. So now we're going to grab chapter 2 of our book. Now, while I'm doing that, normally I don't do any big announcements for our queens until after seminar, but we had the year-end party on Sunday, and I just want to thank everybody who came. It was such a great day, and I will do like a little video montage. I just did not have time to get that ready for tonight, but I wanted to do a big shout out to our 2 queens, Queen of Sales, Faye Thomas, and Queen of Sharing, Sylvia Hess. So what a wonderful year to celebrate this last year for them. I'm excited for what this year will hold. And we just had so many wonderful people there. I hope you guys enjoy your little Cadillac koozies and your little keychains. And we were just so excited, and the roses and the flowers and the food and the family. And our man of the year is Russ. And so we're just excited. We're excited about that. And I will do a little video montage, but the one person that I didn't announce that wasn't there, but I forgot to announce our Miss Go Give. And our Miss Go Give for the last seminar year is Norma Smith. So you guys probably see she's always commenting. She's always cheering everybody on. And I don't think she missed a single video or post. And that is so encouraging. And she does it for every single person in our group. And so I just wanted to do a huge shout out to Norma Smith. My neighbor, the person I've shared that I was so blessed to go to a fabulous Lutheran school. My parents made sure that happened, but it was because of Norma. And I know the Lord the way that I do today because because of Norma. So I'm so grateful. She was our neighbor when I was growing up. She was part of my DIQ team to finish. I mean, you guys all know Marvel, my mom, was team member number 1. And then Norma was right there and she was ready to go and helped me finish directorship almost 23 years ago. She's been using the product since she was young. And she is now young at heart and still using Mary Kay. But she is our Miss Go Give, and I'm just so grateful. And so I'll make sure that gets all showcased when we do the video. But forgot to mention that yesterday because she wasn't there. But I appreciate everything that she does to constantly encourage everyone on the team. And that's what the Miss Go Give is all about. That is what it is all about. And I don't know if you guys know, there is an actual national Miss Go Give that gets recognized at seminar. And if you don't know how that works or how to do that or what it's all about, I've talked about it once a long time ago, but you can go on InTouch and see what Go Give is, and you can nominate. And it's just a really great program to celebrate an amazing woman that was a national sales director in Mary Kay. Okay, Miracle Equation. So I know we're only on chapter 2, but I have a confession to make. I did not invent the Miracle Equation. The book could have been written centuries ago. Not by me, of course, I wasn't around, but it could have been penned by any other miracle maven. So to clarify, I just identified the formula and named it what it already was, the Miracle Equation. In truth, the formula has been throughout history. It has been used with the world's most prolific creators and achievers and in all walks of life. They just didn't have a name for it. When I was a kid watching my favorite basketball player, Michael Jordan, I never heard Coach Phil Jackson turn to his team in the fourth quarter and say, Scottie Pippen, you're going to go get the ball to Michael. Michael, you're going to fake it to the left, drive the lane, apply the Miracle Equation, and win the game. Likewise, nobody ever heard Martin Luther King preach about using the Miracle Equation to advance civil rights, or to read how Elon Musk is using this equation to achieve his grand vision of building a life-sustaining city on Mars. But whether they realized it or not, the Miracle Equation is that formula that each of them used to achieve their extraordinary results. It is living in alignment with the equation that will enable you to tap into your ability to operate in any area of your life at a level 10. It will be impossible not to. So the Miracle Equation was born out of my desire to hit a record-breaking sales goal at work. I thought this was probably impossible, but I really wanted to achieve it. Do any of you have something that just seems so very impossible, but you still want to achieve it? Well, I basically defied my natural tendency to take the easy road, and instead I bolted along the harder path. In the process, I learned one of the most valuable lessons that I've ever come across. This is how the Miracle Equation came to be. After college, I accepted I was accepted a position as a sales representative for Cutco, selling high-end knives. It's cutlery that you purchase through an in-home demonstration. When I began, I had no previous sales experience. Anybody else? Like, I'd never sold a Girl Scout cookie. Well, I was accustomed to living my entire life in the void between average and embarrassingly mediocre. I had always been a C student. I never played organized sports. I wasn't a part of any club. I was bullied in school, and I held only one record that was obtained at Yosemite High School for the most hours of detention ever assigned to a student in a single school year. The total was 178, in case you were curious. Not exactly an accomplishment that Mom and Dad were proud of. With some support of and lessons from some incredible leaders and mentors at Cutco, a level of confidence and competence in myself began to emerge, one that had never existed before. I pushed myself to work harder. I attempted to achieve higher goals. Overall, I grew into someone who was a heck of a lot more capable than I had ever thought I could be, and I quickly became one of the company's top sales reps. One way I stretched myself was by breaking sales records during push periods. So that would be like when the company has double credit and we work a little harder, we push, right? The push periods. So in Cutco, those were 14-day sales contests during which the company fosters friendly competition within the sales force. It's done by incentivizing thousands of reps and managers with trophies and prizes with the intention of bringing in record sales for the salesperson or for his or her local office and for the company. It was during one of those periods that the light bulb hit and the Miracle Equation was born. In February 2001, at the age of 21, I was coming off back-to-back 20,000 push periods, a feat that had been achieved by less than a handful of sales reps during the 52-year history of the company. When the next push period approached, I was gearing up for my attempt to become the first sales rep ever to reach that 20,000 milestone 3 consecutive times. It was 10 in the morning, and I walked into the Cutco office at the sales office in Fremont, California, to turn in my sales from the previous week. "My pal Hal," said my sales manager as he gave me an enthusiastic high five. "Are you ready for this push period?" My eyes widened. I took a deep breath. I pursed my lips. I blew out in an exaggerated exhalation. "I am, and I'm going for it, Frank. I'm going to try to set the record. I don't know how, but I got to find a way to sell another 20,000 in the next 14 days. "Wow," Frank gave me a wide smile. "You realize you'd be the first person to ever hit that mark 3 times. "I know, I'm super nervous." "Now, you do realize that this push period is only 10 days, right? Because of the conference being earlier, we don't have the full 14 days. I stared at him for a moment. "Please tell me you're joking." "Sorry, Hal, I thought you knew that." "So wait, does that mean that this won't technically count as a normal push period, like for records and rankings?" In that moment, I was desperately hoping to get a pass on the abbreviated push period so I could attempt to set the next record when we had the full 14 days. "Nope, this push period counts just like all the others." My heart sank. I had spent the last few weeks wrapping my head around selling 20,000 in 14 days, which was no easy feat. The idea of reaching the same goal in only 10 days felt somewhere between pointless and impossible. That night, I was tossing and turning. Selling 20,000 in 10 days was beyond anything I'd ever done before. I reasoned maybe I should lower my goal to 15,000 or 10,000. Maybe I should just sit this one out. Fear and self-doubt raced around inside my head. How am I going to reach this goal? As the voice of my self-doubt grew louder, clarity struck. I remembered a lesson that one of my mentors had taught me, which he had learned from an author and modern-day philosopher, Jim Rohn. In my head, I heard Dan's voice. The purpose of a goal is not to reach the goal. The purpose of a goal is to become the type of person who can achieve any goal by always giving it everything you have, regardless of your results. It's who you become through the process that matters more than actually reaching the goal. I gave the idea a minute to sink in. Obviously, Dan and I had discussed it before, but it now seemed to take on deeper meaning. Well, what if I don't lower my goal? Even though selling $20,000 in 10 days seems impossible, what if I stay committed to giving it everything I have, regardless of the results? Would that help me become the type of person that I need to be to achieve future goals? If I committed to selling $20,000 and I gave it everything I had, regardless of the result, and the biggest payoff wasn't the goal itself, but who I became in the process to achieve it, well, then I really couldn't fail, right? I decided to go for $20,000 in 10 days. I sat up in my bed. I turned on my lap. My brain was racing. I had to figure out who you become through the process that matters more than actually reaching the goal. I had to figure out how I was going to make the impossible happen. Flip back. So at midnight and in my bed, I reverse engineered the push period that I was about to enter. So reverse engineering, you take that end goal and then you break it down into the steps that you need to do to get back to it. He imagined that it was 10 days into the future, and he asked myself, what if I had already sold $20,000? What would I have had to do between now and then to achieve that? Because it was such a short time period, I knew that my fear of failure would be heightened. I asked myself, how can I combat that fear? The simplest answer was that I would have to believe that I could reach my goal, and I would have to maintain that belief until I did. Doing so would require telling myself over and over and over and over and over and over and over that I could reach the goal, especially when I had bad days or my results were not going well. The initial belief evolved into unwavering faith. Because how many times have you had a goal and you didn't reach it? And you tried again and you didn't reach it. And then you just decided, oh, that's not my goal anymore. That's not unwavering faith. That's giving up. So you have to have the words to tell yourself. Then I thought about how, when my results weren't going well, I could keep driving myself to push forward. It would naturally diminish because I would begin to doubt whether the goal was possible. But the way to combat that inertia would be to commit to giving it everything I had until the very last moment. no matter what my results were along the way. I would have to maintain the high level of effort throughout. The commitment became extraordinary effort. Right then, I made two decisions that I knew I would have to maintain. Decision one, I will establish and maintain unwavering faith that I can reach the goal of selling $20,000 during the push period, no matter what. There is no option. Decision two, I will put forth extraordinary effort every single day until the last possible moment, regardless of the results along the way. I grabbed the notebook off the table. I wrote down those decisions to solidify my commitment. Then I combined them into a single sentence, which became a mantra I could use every single day. It would remind me of my decisions. I am committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell $20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There is no other option. I was still scared. And to be honest, and this is important to understand when you use the miracle equation yourself, I didn't actually believe I was going to sell $20,000 in the next 10 days. Sure, I believed it was possible, but definitely not probable. Our biggest goals usually aren't, which is part of what makes them miracles. Still, I was fully committed to give it everything I had. The math was very simple. If I wanted to sell $20,000 in 10 days, I needed to average $2,000 a day. That meant that in the first 7 days, I would need to be over $14,000 in sales. Had I ever sold $2,000 in a day before? Sure. And I always celebrated because a $2,000 day was both a great day and a pretty rare day. I considered a $2,000 day to be somewhat lucky. So to do that every single day for 10 days in a row would be quite a feat. When I started the push period, luck was nowhere to be found. The first week was a roller coaster that ended up in my finishing at only 50% of where I needed to be on track for my goal. At only $7,000 in sales and with just 3 days left to go, that was the position I'd feared I would be in. But I wasn't going to lower my goal. I had made a commitment to myself that I would give it everything I had until the last possible moment, no matter what. With only 3 days left, I set out on my first appointment of the day. While driving, I repeated my mantra. I am committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell $20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There is no other option. Interestingly, the more I said it, the more I believed it. 6 Cutco presentations later, I finished the day with more than $3,000 in sales. That meant I was now over $10,000 for the push period. That day provided a much-needed boost, and I felt re-energized. I pulled my black Nissan Xterra over, and I took out my referral notebook to make calls. It was 7 p.m., prime phone calling time. I pushed aside my concern about how I was going to sell $10,000 in the next 2 days, and instead, I simply focused on making phone calls. The next 2 days played out very similarly. I sold $3,238 on Tuesday and $4,194 on Wednesday, which put me at $17,024 for the push period. I was feeling inspired because our team was scheduled to meet the next morning at 7 a.m. to carpool to the conference in San Francisco. I was also out of time. Or was I? Not ready to give up short of my goal, I called Frank and asked him to let me skip the carpool so I could squeeze in a couple more appointments before the conference. Inspired by my commitment, he agreed. I immediately pulled out my referral notebook and began making calls. 40 minutes later, I had my 2 appointments scheduled for the following morning. Although selling the remaining $3,000 during just 2 appointments certainly wasn't likely, and in many people's perception, not very realistic, it was definitely possible. As a bonus, I would have my good friend and colleague Adam with me. He had called me that evening to let me know he was going to be in town and asked if he could tag along on my appointments. The next morning, Adam met up with me. We drove to my first appointment. I was a ball of nervous energy. Could this actually happen? Cruising down the freeway, I rolled my car window down. Ignoring the fact that Adam was riding shotgun, I repeatedly shouted my mantra. I am committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell $20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There is no other option. I am committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell $20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There is no other option. The more I said it, the more I believed it. Adam cracked up laughing. He found my emphatic mantra yelling pretty amusing. I pulled into Mrs. Hammerling's driveway at 7:58 a.m., reached behind me, grabbed my navy blue Cutco brief bag filled with more than a dozen razor-sharp kitchen knives from the back seat before Adam and I headed to the front door. Knock, knock, knock. This was it. My palms were sweating. My heart was racing. I took a deep breath. I looked at Adam. I recited my mantra in my head one last time. I am committed to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell 20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do. No matter what, there is no other option. No one answered. So I rang the bell. I glanced around the driveway and along the front of the house. Not sure what I was expecting to see. Maybe she was hiding in the bushes. I rang the bell again. Still no answer. I went to the back seat of my car for my cell phone and I called Mrs. H on her home phone, which was the only number I had for her. No answer. I called again. Still no answer. I was in disbelief. This can't be happening. I waited around a half hour. I called the house a few more times. This is what we reps call a no-show. It was when it couldn't have come at a worse time. I took a deep breath, and then Adam and I jumped back in my car, and we headed to my last appointment. It was my last chance to reach my goal. We arrived an hour early, and we parked down the street. This was not a good hour for me. It gave me too much time to think. Fear crept back in. I started to doubt myself. How can this be happening? I'd given everything I had. I'd maintained unwavering faith. I put forth extraordinary effort. And now everything was riding on my last appointment. My last appointment. My stomach was in knots. Finally, I knocked on Mrs. Carol Jones' door, silently repeating my miracle mantra. I am committed in unwavering faith to maintaining unwavering faith that I will sell 20,000 for push and putting forth extraordinary effort until I do, no matter what. There is no other option. 30 seconds later, the door opened. Thank God. Now I was face to face with a 40-something-year-old blonde woman. May I help you? The woman's Swedish accent caught me off guard. This wasn't the woman I spoke to on the phone. Are you Carol? No, she was definitely not Carol. Turned out she was Carol's sister-in-law. She was visiting from Sweden to attend her brother's 50th birthday party, which was only a few days away. A quick phone call from the Swedish sister-in-law to Carol confirmed that Carol was across town and had completely forgotten about our appointment. She wasn't going to make it back in time. Is there anything I can help you with? Said the sister-in-law. I thought for a second. Sister-in-law on vacation for her brother's 50th birthday party. She's probably not going to buy knives, right? Especially not $3,000 worth of knives. Well, thank you for asking, but I don't think so. Adam cleared his throat and leaned over. How? He said, we drove all the way out here to watch you. I drove all the way out here with you to watch this presentation. If this nice woman is willing to let you do the presentation, I still love to see it. I looked at Adam as chills ran through my body. It was as if time stood still. The last possible moment had not arrived yet. This nice woman was offering to help. Maybe on some level, Adam had come along today to remind me of that. Actually, on second thought, I told her, there is something you can do to help. I was supposed to do a presentation for Carol to show her some high-quality kitchen cutlery, and this was my last appointment for the week. I would really appreciate it if I could still do my presentation for you so I don't fall short with my appointments. Is there any chance you'd be up for that? Surprisingly, the Swedish sister-in-law was game. Sure, come on inside. Adam smiled and we walked through the front door, and I was silently thanking him in my head. And as my last act of extraordinary effort, I proceeded to give the very best, most enthusiastic Cutco presentation of my life. 60 minutes later, as I concluded my presentation and prepared to ask the sister-in-law if there was any chance she might want to purchase a set of Cutco, she said something that was hard to believe. Hal, your timing is very interesting. My husband and I were just about to invest in a high-quality set of kitchen knives last week, back home in Sweden. But we both agreed that we should wait until after our trip here in America. And on top of that, our entire family has been trying to find the perfect gift for our brother's 50th birthday, but we haven't found one yet. He absolutely loves to cook, so this would be perfect. What are the odds? I thought to myself in disbelief, this is amazing. I smiled at her and nodded in anticipation. You know what? Let's do it. I'll take 2 of your ultimate sets, one for my husband and me, and one to give my brother for his birthday. I had to keep myself from jumping out of the chair and hugging her because that sale put me over $3,000 for the day, and it exceeded my $20,000 goal. As we drove away from the appointment, a conviction was born in me. I was beginning to understand that if I wanted an extraordinary life, these were the 2 decisions that would create it. Unwavering faith combined with extraordinary effort. That was the formula to consistently producing extraordinary results. Tangible, measurable results that were so significant and so unexpected that they felt like miracles. The next push period became an experiment. I applied the same strategy. I created the possibility of selling 20,000 again for what would be a record-setting 4th time. I committed to maintaining unwavering faith and putting forth extraordinary effort until the last possible moment, regardless of the results. That is like getting on the phone on the last day of the month and staying on the phone calling everybody until it is 9:59. 9:59. This time, I was doing it with more curiosity as to whether the formula, which I began referring to in my journal as the miracle equation, would actually work again. It did. I finished the next push period at 23,701. Although I didn't fully understand it at the time, I was developing the qualities and the characteristics of a miracle maven, which would enable me to achieve any goal I set. Well, okay, maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm just getting lucky. I thought, I want to know for sure if this equation is real. So I began teaching it to some of my colleagues, fellow Cutco reps who had hired me to coach them. One of those is a story that you are about to read, the first Cutco rep to whom I taught the miracle equation. And as you'll see, the story played out almost identically really to my own. So Jerry came to him in 2005. Even though she had consistently sold more than any other rep, she had never been a very big seller. Her largest push period had been over 12,000, and she came to ask if I would help her reach her next goal of 15,000. Nope, I said, I won't, but I'll help you sell 20,000 because I believe you can. So I told her about the miracle equation, and her response was, I don't know, I've never done anything close to that before, but I guess if it works for you, it might work for me. So much like my push period started out, her first 5 sales demonstrations resulted in a whopping $1,000. Not exactly the start she'd been expecting, but she made that decision to keep the unwavering faith. She knew that with renewed motivation, she was going to set out, and she went on to sell a few of the larger sets and ended with over $3,000 in sales. The rest of the week continued on a sales roller coaster. But by the beginning of the second week, she was only at 8,500. She was scared, but she continued the process, setting the appointments and doing the demos. Fast forward to the second Friday, she was sitting at 15,000 in sales. So 15,000 is what she wanted to do. So she still needed 5,000 during the weekend to get close to what the goal of 20,000 was. So that night, she made 50 calls, more than she had ever done on a Friday night. She set 7 demos for that weekend, and then she called me. Hal, I'm at $15,000. I'm 5,000 away from my goal. I'm so nervous, but I am 100% committed to implementing this miracle equation until the last possible moment. It's strange, but I actually believe it's going to happen. Or should I say I have unwavering faith that I'm going to hit my goal. That Saturday, she saw a very sweet couple who'd bought the largest set we sold at the time, the ultimate set, which was the same one I sold to create my miracle. Not only did that couple give her a whole slew of referrals, but they took her next door and personally introduced her to their neighbor who bought another miracle set. Another ultimate set. It was only 3 p.m. and she was already 2,500 for the day. After a quick bite to eat, she hurried to her next demo. Bam, another 1,000 in sales. Back in her car, she connected with a potential customer she had been having a hard time getting a hold of. He told her the only time he could do an appointment was after he got off work at midnight. Reluctantly, she agreed. So that it was a good thing she did, because that demo, which finished at 2 a.m, pushed her over her sales goal. But there was still time left in the competition, so she kept her faith and effort up, and she kept selling. She finished the push period with $23,000, which was nearly double her previous best. The dream she once had now become a reality. The miracle equation had proven itself to be true. Extraordinary effort and unwavering faith does equal miracles. After her experience, I continued to teach it to many of my colleagues. Nearly every single person I taught created his or her own push period miracle in an excess of $20,000. These results were unheard of. My confidence in the validity of the formula grew. Rep after rep successfully broke through their self-imposed limiting mindset to produce tangible results beyond anything they ever believed possible. To be clear, there was nothing else I was teaching them. There were no new sales techniques. There were no new strategies with follow-up with past customers. I told all of them my story about applying the miracle equation, and they just did it. They applied it. That was it. Then with the miracle equation was proven to go further. There was a relatively new sales rep who was putting himself through college. He contacted me to help him reach his first 10,000. Similar to what I told Jerry, I told him I believed he was going to double the goal to 20,000. Because I'd seen it work for so many people, once I taught him the equation, he thought for a moment and challenged it. Hal, do you think I could use the miracle equation and sell 30,000 in 2 weeks? Personally, I had never reached that milestone, but I told him I didn't believe there were any limits to the size of the miracle. He went on to sell over $31,000 in 2 weeks, with more than 20,000 coming during the second week. By giving it everything he had until the last possible moment, he sold over $6,000 in the last hour. The repeated success of the miracle equation proved that it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't luck, it was a proven, reliable, repeatable strategy that and when understood and implemented correctly, it would enable anyone to immediately begin accessing his or her full potential and creating results beyond anything that you'd ever imagined before. You might be wondering, how does it apply to me? I understand, because I wondered that myself. Would it work outside the sales world? In fact, it's why it took me nearly 20 years to write this book. In addition to studying countless famous achievers to confirm the universal validity of the equation, I taught it to as many people as I could. In short, it does. Here's a list of some of the people who have used it. Angela May was a single mom making $12,000 annually at Starbucks as a barista. That is, until she decided to start her own business. Within 1 year, she made her first 6 figures and has gone on to grow her income to 7 figures for the past 3 consecutive years. Tim Nikolaev came over from Russia at age 16. He learned the miracle equation at 17. He used it to build the life of his dreams. Now in his early 30s, he's financially free, essentially retired, meaning he lives on just passive income from real estate that exceeds his expenses, and he only works if he wants. According to Tim, the most valuable lesson he learned was that you often can't predict how your path to seemingly unreachable goals will play out, but by giving it everything you have until the last possible moment, regardless of your results along the way, you will inevitably reach your goal, or something even better. Shelley Boyce had a dream to establish a home for young women struggling with life-controlling issues such as eating disorders, drug and alcohol dependency, and the effects of abuse, anxiety, and depression, but she had no idea how to do so. The miracle equation revolutionized her thinking and made her believe she could do whatever she believed possible. She chose Life Ministries Homestead for Hope and is scheduled to open in September. Brandon Labella had a dream to complete the New York City Marathon. 3 days prior to the race, he tore the medial collateral ligament on the inner side of his knee and was confined to crutches. Instead of dropping out of the race, he looked up the fastest time on crutches completed in previous New York City marathons, and he decided he was going to beat that time. Through the combined powers of unwavering faith and extraordinary effort, he decided that no matter what, he was going to finish the race. He went on to power through and beat the fastest time, setting a world record. Carl Smolensky started a DJ company at age 14 while in dental school. He decided to leave and follow his passion. Fueled by the unwavering faith and extraordinary effort to break the traditional mold and pursue a future in event production and entertainment, now 40 years later, his family of companies produces events globally. He's entertained over 1 million people. He's grown his business to a level that grosses millions of dollars in revenue annually. And he continues to use the miracle equation as he pursues his passion by writing a book about passion and successfully launching his own homegrown annual conference, the Passion Summit. During 2016, Angel Morales traveled the world by himself for 11 months. He went to 26 countries on 5 different continents, spent 2 years saving, researching, and preparing in order to accomplish his dream. When he told people he was going to quit his job and travel the world, nobody believed him. But with his unwavering faith, he bought the around-the-world ticket that made his dream a reality. Aaliyah Backus went from being a depressed, suicidal teenager who played video games all day to an aerial arts performer, teacher who inspires people of all ages to achieve their dreams and be resilient. She continues to use the miracle equation, and she's been able to triple her income in the last 12 months. In 24 months, Ken Wimberly dropped more than 30 pounds, paid off $352,000 of debt, and scaled his brokerage business from $20 million to $70 million in annual sales. Vincent Valenti married his dream woman, bought his dream home, wrote a children's book, and started 2 companies and sold one. Jesse Walters went from being bedridden with anxiety to becoming a successful real estate broker and a speaker at a church. Mike Eaton lost 90 pounds and fulfilled his dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. Teresa Larico, the producer of the Miracle Morning movie, was hit by a bus and her body was devastated in the midst of making our film. We leaned on each other and we used the miracle equation simultaneously to fully recover. When I was collecting the stories, I actually attempted to play devil's advocate and see if I could find people who didn't utilize unwavering faith and extraordinary effort to achieve their goals, but I failed to find a single person. I'll be sharing more stories throughout the book of individuals throughout the world, from world-famous miracle mavens to people whose names you probably don't know, who have successfully created tangible, measurable miracles using the equation. Each story serves as evidence that it is possible for you. The beauty of the equation is it works for any goal, big or small, and for anyone who makes and maintains those 2 decisions. The remainder of the book will serve as your bridge to the life you want, not by simply wishing for it, but by understanding how to move from wanting it to creating it. I will walk you through the process, and it is a process, so that producing tangible, measurable miracles ultimately becomes your norm. When you choose to embody the 2 decisions, you will become a miracle maven, and you'll think and live differently from the way you have in the past, which will push you towards different results in your present and future. The first step in embodying this new miracle maven identity is to identify and overcome the inherent human conflict that we all have because we're not aware of it. And in the next chapter, we'll lay out the conflict, see how it might be manifesting in your life, work on getting it out from under you so that you can achieve the results that you want. Okay, that chapter was so good. So good. I hope you see that having the unwavering faith and the extraordinary effort and basically setting that big, huge goal, bigger than what you ever dreamed it was going to be. And that's where you close your eyes. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Just close your eyes for a second. What is the biggest goal? The biggest thing that you want to achieve right now? Think about that. What's your biggest goal? And then now I want you to think of something bigger. Because God sees the bigger. We just kind of get stuck on this is the biggest we can think and believe. And knowing that that's what's out there for you, that it can be done. All right, let's close in prayer. Oh, Father God, we are so grateful to have all these new thoughts and new ideas and just the awareness that we all have it in us to become miracle mavens, that we will move forward with unwavering faith and extraordinary effort. I just pray that you reach into the hearts of all these women and just grab them so that they can create the one thing that they want to focus on right now, the big goal that they have, and that we can create those reverse engineered steps, and that when we are sitting thinking about what it is, you're going to just explode in our brains and our hearts with those big dreams and those big goals that we're sometimes even afraid to admit to ourselves, knowing that we're willing to give it all we have until the last possible moment. And we can do those things because maybe we can't do them forever, but we can do them in a short period of time. So we're going to be very strategic, dear Lord. We're going to just ask you to keep us focused, keep us with our eye on the goal, create the goal, and then be bold about it and work together to achieve it as a team. We ask for all this in your name. We pray. Amen. All right, guys, have a fabulous week. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging in there with me tonight. Goodness gracious. Things were just trying to get me not to talk to you tonight. We were supposed to not hear about all this tonight, but it happened. So praise Jesus for that. All right. Have a great night.